I personally love these types of videos that take you down a memory lane, and I can't believe that one of these handbags is actually 11 years old. Hi guys, and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is May, also known as Mrs. Leva here on YouTube, and today I will be doing a tag video. This tag was actually created by Steph from Handbagholic, but I was tagged by my beautiful friend Melissa here on YouTube and Instagram. I'll link their videos down below for you guys to check out next, but the tag basically consists of you sharing your oldest luxury handbags which are still in your collection. Today I will be sharing 5 of my oldest luxury handbags which are still in my collection. However, I am adding an honorable mention which I did sell and regret to this day. If you have been watching my channel for a little bit, this first pick will come at no surprise. This is my baby, the handbag that I will never sell from my collection, even though I don't remember when it was the last time that I used her, but nevertheless it is my oldest handbag in my collection, and that is my Speedy 35 in the damier bend print. This was the handbag that started it all for me. It was that bag that I dreamt about having in my collection, and the moment that I was able to add her, I was over the moon, and it took me days, probably weeks, to really come to terms that she was mine and that I would be able to use her and just enjoy the handbag. I will pop up some old photos of when I acquired this piece. It was back in 2012, so please forgive the quality of those pictures, but this bag just holds so much sentimental value. That is mainly the reason why I will never get rid of her. It was the first bag that I walked into the store and my husband was like, you know what, it's that time, let's get you your first Louis bag. And I was shocked. Like, I just looked at him and I was like, you're kidding, like we're not spending that kind of money on a handbag. Mind you, in 2012, this bag, I will never forget, was 565 euros. It's just such a unique number that it'll always stick in my mind. But we had just gotten married, we had just bought our first place. Never in a million years did I think that I would be walking into the Louis Vuitton flagship store in Paris during our 1-year wedding anniversary and being able to obtain this beautiful piece. So before I continue getting all mushy, let me just review this handbag really quick. And as I said, she is 11 years old, which blows my mind because I do have a comparison video in regards to her and the Speedy B25, and the look of this bag and the wear and tear of it is impeccable. Even though she has been with me for so long, I don't use her as much as I used to, but when I first grabbed her, you guys, I would not put her down. I mean, you could imagine, she was my only luxury handbag for 2 years after I obtained my next one, which we'll get into in a minute. The hardware definitely has seen better days, but that's not a surprise from Louis Vuitton hardware. We all know it wears really, really badly, especially on the Speedies. She does have the flat flaps here, and my favorite thing about this handbag is that I was able to get my married initials hot stamped. I had no idea that you can get anything hot stamped, but my experience at the Louis Vuitton store in the flagship store in Paris was amazing for it being my first luxury purchase. And I feel like you don't get that as often anymore, unfortunately, because there are so many people that go to this store to make purchases. I feel like the experience nowadays is just more of a transaction rather than a true memory of that purchase. Just my 2 cents and just my thoughts. Let's get into the second oldest handbag in my collection, and that is my Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the MM size. If you guys have caught on to the pattern, Louis Vuitton will make a couple of appearances in this video simply because when I started collecting luxury handbags, I honestly thought Louis Vuitton was like the top and all be all kind of brand. However, we all know that's definitely not the case. So this Louis Vuitton piece, I actually got it in our Vienna Prague trip. I don't remember which of the 2 countries we were at, but I'll pop up pictures of that little shopping moment that we did have. I actually went in to look for a smaller handbag. I thought that adding maybe a smaller piece would be nice just for nights out. But then I honestly thought about it, and at that point in my life, this one I purchased in 2014. We didn't have a lot of like nice fancier events to go to, and I wore a big bag everywhere I went. I carried so many things in my handbags, it was crazy. So when I started comparing the prices of the smaller option compared to the larger handbags, believe it or not, it was just off by maybe $200 or $300. I actually was consider adding the favorite MM at that point, which I regret not getting actually, because as we know, that piece is now discontinued, and I really do feel like that's a really good versatile piece to have in your collection, But that's not the point of this video. Back to the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. So when I went in, I asked to see this one, and it turned out that at that time they had just added that additional pouch that came with the Neverfull. So I thought, wow, what a brilliant idea, 2-in-1. It ends up I actually sold the pouch about 1.5 years after because I never used it. But this bag has definitely gotten a ton of love. She has that beautiful caramel patina to her, which I personally really love the contrast of the patina with the LV monogram canvas. Just like the Speedy 35, I rarely used her. I think I used her about 2 months ago for a convention that we had to go to for my husband's job. But besides that, she just basically stays on my wall displayed as a beautiful piece. I have considered using her as a travel piece, but whenever I do travel, I want to take as much room as possible since I just take my carry-on and then a personal item. So I always end up grabbing my Keep All 45 for that reason. But I do think that she would be a good travel piece just because she is so loved already that I'm not scared of anything getting on her. I know that if a liquid were to fall on the canvas, it's very easy to clean. It doesn't bother me if she were to get dirty inside. I feel like all of those marks over the year just build a story for each individual handbag in my collection, and I really just love looking back and being like, oh, I remember when I got that stained. Let me know if you feel the same about your older handbags and if any of them have a specific story that you always remember every time that you look at them. If you are enjoying the video so far and you are new around here, please consider subscribing down below. I do a lot of handbag related videos giving you some very in-depth reviews as I use the bags over a period of time. But I also like to get into a little bit of fashion. I do have a few style videos coming up in regards to styling specific handbags and giving you some outfit inspiration along the way. So as I said, that piece was added back in 2014, and then I took a designer handbag break in my life. My husband and I actually decided to take off and travel to Europe for a full year. We quit everything. We actually rented out our apartment. It was a beautiful experience and memory that we decided to do together. And even though I was super hesitant at first, I totally do not regret doing that at all, but that is a whole nother video on its own. However, before we came back into the States, the last country that we did visit was France, and we spent the last 2 weeks in the Côte d'Azur, which is like the south of France where the beach area is at, and explore a little bit of the cities down there. And my amazing husband actually surprised me for my birthday because we were there during that time period, and we went into the Louis Vuitton store and I added the Speedy in the Damier Azur in the size 30. As you can see, unfortunately I don't have her here, and that is the handbag that I say that I regret selling every single day that passes, just because that handbag had so much memory to her. As I mentioned, we were living in the Côte d'Azur for a period of 2 weeks, so I thought the Azur print was perfect just as a little souvenir for that 1-year trip that we did take. However, I do live in Miami, and rain here just pops out very sporadically, and it would turn out that every time that I was carrying that handbag, it would end up raining. So she did start getting some dark spots to her, and to be honest with you, I think about that now and I just feel like it would have given the handbag its own little character and personality. But at that time, I wasn't looking at it in that perspective. I was just seeing the handbag get damaged in a way. So I ended up selling it to Fashion File. I lost probably about $400 because getting it in Europe, I was still able to save money rather than getting it in the States. However, I still got rid of it. And as I said, every time that I think about that handbag, I miss it and I wish that I still had it in my collection. So I definitely just wanted to do an honorable mention in regards to her. Now let's move on to my holy grail handbag, and that is none other than my Celine luggage tote, and this is in the size micro. I ended up adding this handbag into my collection back in 2018 when I turned 30. Again, I drive my husband crazy with these bags, but somehow he manages to find a way to still surprise me and make the experience of adding them into my collection so memorable. That's why I rarely part ways with my handbags, because I've said it before, but I really try to do a ton of research before adding any of these pieces in my collection. They are not cheap, and my husband and I work very hard to earn our money. We definitely have other priorities over designer handbags, so these are just some little treats that I like to have from time to time, and that is the primary reason why I definitely do a ton of research and why I like providing really in-depth review for you guys to check out as well. So back to this little cutie. Actually, he did surprise me with a trip over to Paris before we made it to Dubai, which was the destination that we were going to for my 30th birthday. And the main reason for that trip was to be able to get the Celine at the Celine store in Paris. I forget the street, but I'll definitely link it down below and pop up a little picture. This is by far the most expensive handbag in my current collection at the moment. I did get it in Europe, so I think she ended up being 2,200 euros. However, after VAT refunds and all of that, she was well under the $2,000 mark. However, this bag in the States did run for $3,100 at the moment. So I'm definitely very glad that I was able to get a huge savings when adding this piece abroad. That is one thing that I recommend. If you do have a trip coming up and you are already traveling abroad, be patient, save up your money, and definitely do the purchase abroad. Not only is it such a more memorable experience, in my opinion, it's kind of like a little souvenir for that specific trip, but you'll definitely be able to save hundreds, if not thousands at times, and maybe you can add a little wallet or a pair of shoes to go along with your new purchase. So as I said, this was my holy grail bag at that time. We all know that now it is the Hermes Birkin. I did start a whole series in regards to my Hermes journey, so I'll leave that playlist linked down below if you guys want to kind of catch up on that. But I still love this bag. Unfortunately, it is one of those that I don't grab as much as I wish I would. I actually ended up adding the Nano for that reason, because I'm now more into smaller handbags. However, again, this is one that's not going anywhere. Now moving on to the fourth oldest handbag in my collection, and that is my YSL Lulu. This one here is in the size medium in the color dark beige. And I actually added this bag while here in the States. It was the first bag that I added into my collection that I actually paid US price for. So this one was introduced to the family in 2020. As you can imagine, we were right smack in the middle of the C word. So we ended up renting a beach house for my birthday, and my husband and I went for the full week, and my parents and my in-laws ended up showing a little bit later. And as they walked in with a beautiful cake, and it was a cake of this bag, and I was blown away just by the cake. I was totally not expecting a bag to begin with, and as I was looking at the cake, I was like, oh my god, it's so cool, like how nice. It really looked very, very identical to this bag. And then my husband gave me my present, and inside the box was this beautiful piece. I think I even cried. I know I'm so emotional and so dramatic when it comes to these things, but it means a lot when your partner supports your craziness, like listens to you every time that you have a handbag in your mind, and you just go on and on about it, and actually surprises you with these sort of things. So to me, that was just a very emotional moment, and as I said, I was totally not expecting it. I love this handbag, you guys. Even though I don't use her, I feel like I'm being so repetitive in this video, but I was adding a lot of big bags because that's what I was using at the moment. But if you guys have been watching me for a little bit, you see how I've gravitated to smaller bags, even micro bags right now. So I definitely don't gravitate as much to these bigger silhouettes. However, there are just certain handbags that I won't get rid of because of all the sentimental value that they have. And I know that I'm still able to incorporate them here and there. So this one in particular is the medium size, as I mentioned, and even though she holds a huge amount of things, I can still place inside my regular necessities that I would carry in one of my smaller bags. I can do my mini pochette, my toiletry 15, a sunglasses case, a bigger wallet if I needed just to take up a little bit more space, and my little wipes packet. I do have a review video on her where I share what fits inside as well, so I'll make sure to link that down below. And this color is one of the best nudes that I have seen out in the market. I also have my Uptown pouch. Here she is in the same tone, and I feel like on the camera it's coming out as this is a little bit lighter. I think it's because this has a pebbled leather, where the Lulu in the medium size is in a calfskin leather. So I do feel like that makes the color look a little bit different, but I just love this nude from YSL altogether. And I am so surprised at how well this bag has held up. I've never used her crossbody just because I do feel like it's a little bit bulky for my particular body frame, but I love using her over my shoulder, and she does lay a little bit low. So when I'm wearing jeans, she's basically rubbing on that jean part, and she has no color transfer whatsoever. I have mentioned before that I'm terrified of any handbag in smooth leather, And as I just said, this is a calfskin leather. So I was really scared that she might get scuffs or scratches on her, and not at all. So here we have my fourth oldest handbag, and once again, I honestly feel like this is a great classic addition just to have in any handbag lovers collection, period. All right guys, and to finish off this video, we have my fifth oldest handbag in my collection, and I added this piece back in 2021, and that is none other than my beautiful Speedy B25. I feel like this bag is the reason why many of you might be here and might be watching my channel. When I unboxed this bag, I think I had probably been on YouTube for about 2 to 3 months, and that video got 10,000 views in a matter of, I think, like a week or 2 weeks. I remember going in every morning and telling my husband, oh my God, it has 5,000 views. Oh my God, it has 6,000. Like, it was just a crazy moment because I had just started YouTube. So it was very memorable, very emotional as well. So again, another one that has a little bit of sentimental value to her. This one was a hard one to obtain though. I did get her in 2021, as I mentioned. And this one actually came in thanks to the help of my sister-in-law. She was actually at Aventura Mall and she asked if they had it, and they told her yes. And she texted me and I was like, oh my God, I need to call that SA, tell him to hold it for me. So I ended up reaching out to the store and asked the gentleman to hold the bag for me, that I would be there in less than 45 minutes, and he definitely did. I made it into the store and he had it all wrapped up and ready to go for me. She is my one bag tag that I've mentioned before. I've done various videos on this piece. I feel like this is a great bag to have in your collection. And surprisingly enough, I feel like the 25 can suit so many different lifestyles. You would think that it being the smallest, actually she's not the smallest, we now have a 20 and a nano. You would think that she would be one of the ones that people will gravitate to the least, but I gotta say that she fits so much. I will leave all of those videos linked down below for you guys to check out. I share with you a ton of ways in which you can pack her. I love using this bag just as an everyday cute casual in the crook of your arm sort of handbag. I love using her crossbody also, and the fact that the strap does have 3 pieces, it also allows you to be able to use her as an over-the-shoulder handbag. So the versatility of this handbag is one of the best to be honest. I also really like the fact that I went with the damier band print. I went over that in my mind a ton of times before I added it. Since I did have the Speedy 35 in the damier band, I sort of didn't want to double up on a print, but they are completely 2 different handbags. The Speedy 35 is the classic Speedy, and the bandolier option, as I said, just gives you so much more versatility. If you are considering adding a Speedy into your collection, I highly recommend you guys just save up a little bit more and get the bandolier option. You can carry it just like a classic Speedy when you remove the strap, but having that strap option makes all the difference in the world, and I promise you won't regret it. All right everyone, so that does it for this tag video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know down in the comment section down below, of course, which are your oldest handbags and how they are still holding up. If you do have a YouTube channel, I would love for you to join in the fun and also do this tag. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will leave 2 reviews linked here in regards to some of the bags that I mentioned today. As always, thank you for taking some time out of your day to watch, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Bye everyone.